I tried to do this video scripted, but honestly, I don't think it sounds very natural, and so I'm not going to. But let's talk about what the best dragons are. I see this question a lot in the Discord, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest, I kind of hate it. There's no best dragon in this game. Its rarity isn't really a factor for gameplay, and it just doesn't really matter. So what do you want to get when you first start out playing? These are the primary demographic. The new players are the primary demographic asking this question. What are the best dragons? What are the rarest dragons? What dragons should you get is really what is being asked. And that's what I want to discuss. So in terms of dragon rarity, there's only two types of rarity that are actually like implemented as gameplay mechanics. There's the rarity used for breeding, which determines like which parent the dragon, the egg is more likely to take after. The child egg will take after which parent it will take after. Whereas the other type of rarity is the one used for calculating prices in the egg market, which can be accessed from the expedition page, by the way. These prices, the more expensive equals more rare, but they tend to fluctuate because it's based on what people are buying. Well, there's a base price. Every dragon has a base price, and then if more people buy it, the price goes up. You can see this with Pierrot. It's currently 2,100 egg coins or whatever right now, in early September 2023. No idea why, because it's not worth that much, but there you go. More expensive tends to mean that it's more difficult to obtain, so it's easier to buy through the egg market than to stumble across one. But in all honesty, I wouldn't worry too much about it, because rare does not necessarily mean useful. Sometimes it does, but sometimes it doesn't. What's useful, the dragons you're really gonna want to get, especially at the start, are ability dragons. You want to have those dragons at their adult stage so that you can actually utilize their ability. Now, abilities can do things like get you more dragons, get you dragons faster, affect their personalities, change aesthetic things, all the fun stuff. So here are some of the most useful ones. The egg dragon's cuddle ability takes 12 hours off an egg's hatch timer. This is fantastically useful. Get a bazillion of them. The egg dragon. The Lachian, I love so much. It's one of my favorites. Not only does it look cool, but it's got the open bundle ability, which is just an extra wanderer, with no time limit on it. And you can do months that aren't the current month. The wanderer's eggs change monthly. You can go back to previous months and get eggs that you missed. So you can get like Goblin, Ninja, Characen, etc. All the fun stuff. Gotta love Lachian. You're gonna want a Liberté as well. Its ability is required to trade. Trading isn't incredibly important, but for free-to-play players, it's the only way to get card code dragons or monthly dragons, and it can be really useful if you're looking for a rare dragon and just getting really unlucky. Some people use them to gender swap dragons they have. If they're looking for specifically a male angel dragon, they'll put up their female angel dragon for trade and ask for gender swaps. So not completely useless, but not super important to deal with. But on the off chance you do want to trade something, you will want to have an adult Liberté on hand. Lunera is one of the ones that's actually rare. Liberté, Lachian, Egg aren't that hard to find, but Lunera actually really is. Its ability will allow you to re-roll a hatchling's personality. If you don't know what that means, go watch my personality video. But it lets you re-roll their personality at the hatchling stage as long as they already qualify for it. It's not super useful early on because you're probably not going to be focused on personalities or worried about personalities, but it's useful. The Rupia is another dragon that's pretty useful. Its ability adds 100 views to a dragon, a hatch or hatchling or egg or whatever. This is useful for getting the lovely and arrogant personalities, but that's really it. The Centipede and Cupid dragons are useful for breeding. I recommend grabbing them. Combat ability can only be used by Mithra, Karura, Tegeta, and Angara, and Mithra's ability is the only one that can give other dragons the battle ability. So you will need a Mithra if you want to fight. Just keep that in mind. If you were wondering, that's why you can't access the Colosseum, because you need a Mithra. This doesn't cover every ability. I haven't covered every ability, but I've covered several, and the most useful ones. Go check the wiki's page on abilities. It's going to be far more comprehensive than this, but yeah, if you are just starting out, these are the most important ones to grab. Another aspect of Rarity, especially in terms of desirability for trading, is breeding. As I mentioned, not every dragon is available free to play, and so you'll have to get some from breeding. Card code dragons, which are only available through physically purchased cards, are best obtained through breeding, and monthly dragons, which cost the premium currency, diamonds, will need to be obtained through trading if you don't feel like spending money. A note about monthly dragons that a lot of new players don't seem to realize is that they are weird when it comes to breeding. Monthly dragons have 10 forms, 5 for each gender. 8 of these forms are available by purchasing them with diamonds, and then the final 2 can only be obtained through breeding. So the primary 8 forms are untradeable because you have to purchase them with diamonds, and so free-to-play players cannot get those forms. The Angel Cat is one of the August monthlies. I don't know if it's going to be Augustus monthly forever, but it was at least the 2023 August monthly. And as it is still September 2nd as of filming in 2023, I'm still seeing plenty of Angel Cat trades around, and every time I see a trade post looking for a demon Angel Cat, I feel so bad for the person posting, because they're never going to get the offer they're looking for. To use the Angel Cat as an example, the Tuna Cat is the only form that will hatch from a 2nd generation egg. The other 4 forms, the Dino, Time Traveler, Angel, and Demon, although these are not official names, will only ever hatch from 1st generation eggs, which again, are untradeable. Additionally, long-term breeding projects can add value to a dragon. For example, the color variants of specific dragons, like the Girdletail. The Girdletail, to get the color variants, you have to have the previous one in the order. So to get the black Girdletail, you have to have the gold one. To get the red Girdletail, you have to have the black one. To have the white Girdletail, you have to have the red one. And so on and so forth. And so because of this, because of how long it takes to raise them and breed them and such, it can increase the rarity of that dragon, because it takes so long to get them that not everyone is putting in that time and effort. And especially people who aren't looking information up don't necessarily know how to get these specific dragons. They don't necessarily have a low spawn rate. They're not difficult to find, but they take time to get, and so they're rarer. There are also some dragons you might want to get because setting them as your partner dragon unlocks a quest. For example, setting the Shirk Dragon as your partner unlocks a quest that leads to you getting an Abyss Edge. If you have a Wings Dragon, set it as your partner. It's worth it, I promise. As great as it is to stock up on species that you like, such as Egg or Lachian, you're still going to want to keep some variety in terms of your species. Unlocking Evira requires that you have 40 different adult dragons of different species. So you do need to keep a lot of variety, because getting 40 dragons takes a long time. And if you have 40 egg dragons, you're still 39 eggs away, or 39 dragons away from unlocking Evira. If you have no other goals, trying to fill out your bonds can provide some direction. There's so many different species required for bonds that you're absolutely going to make some progress towards Evira completing them. Or you can just grab eggs you don't have. Just because they lack a use now doesn't mean they're not going to lack a use forever. They can always add stuff in future updates. So, I guess my final note's going to be, don't stress about it. Don't worry about what dragons you have or don't have. Just focus on the dragons that make you happy and get those. Eventually, you'll get all the dragons you want. And yeah, the game's all about patience. It's about waiting. From the moment you start, you have to wait. You are thrown into the game, and you can't talk and chat for 4 days because you need to wait for 2 dragons to grow up. And yeah. When I first picked up the game, I was so flabbergasted that it took 8 hours for your first egg to hatch and a full 24 for them to grow into the final adult stage. Yeah, the game is all about patience. So just don't worry about not having certain dragons or be frustrated that you didn't grab the rare Raphael or whatever it is that you want. Especially since, in a lot of ways, they're probably going to eventually get easier to get. Eventually, that dragon will probably end up in Evira or the Wanderer's poll, and then you can just get a bazillion of them from Lachian. The point is, just enjoy the game. That's the most important part. Just relax. Just be patient. And have fun. That's all you need to do. So with that said, I hope this gives you some direction as to what dragons you're going to want to get starting out, and what dragons you want to get further in. Have a wonderful time and enjoy some more dragons.